Gentlemen, it is with a heavy heart that I must say, we finally have some good fucking news, baby. Let's fucking go. Everything in the rad refresh is available day 1, June 9th. Everything is coming out. Let's fucking go, baby. But you fuckers tried to gaslight me all through my replies. Sis, no, it should be time gated or the LFG will be a mess. Sis, no, everybody's gonna hate it if everything drops at once. No. But look, not a single negative reply talking about the fact that there's no time gating on the raids. The normal people that are whining in DMG's replies, whatever, not a single person is mad that all of the rad content is getting dropped day 1. Look at that. That's so rare for DMG to come out and say something and nobody to be mad about it. This is such a hype moment, dude. I'm actually so fucking stoked. So, aside from basking in the glow of being right yet again, by the way, I'm always right. I'm never wrong. I'm just right all the time. Imagine what it's like to be me and be right all the... Okay, enough joking. What are we actually farming, though? Here's everything I've got my eye on, starting with hand cannons. So, firstly, Iasuna, obviously. Fatebringer next, but then Zauli's Bane. Zauli's Bane actually has a pretty clear sight model, and ever since the patch where the reload doesn't, fuck with you anymore, it's a pretty solid gun. If it has good perks on it after the refresh, definitely check it out. Important to note here, for raid weapons specifically, if you already have the crafted pattern, I think that you'll just be able to go to the crafting table and apply the new traits and enhanced barrels and mags. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. I don't think you're going to have to go get the crafting patterns again because they didn't seem to say that. So just keep that in mind. If there's anything in the raid loot pool that you want specifically and you already have the pattern, just know you can just use that day 1. Next up, pellet shotguns. Firstly, Found Verdict, the GOAT. You know I had to mention it. If it gets something like threat closing time, whew, we're cooking. But even if it doesn't, just enhanced barrel and masterwork could give it that little bit of extra juice it needs to actually have an aggressive frame shoddy be good for once. After that, Prophet of Doom, just a classic precision frame. It's really good now. That little bump from enhanced stuff make it a lot better. Then, of course, Matador 64, baby. And we're actually going to have to farm for this one because it's a dungeon weapon, but I am diving headfirst into the Matador farms. I will be slaying that ogre many, many times until I get a good roll of this thing because Matador is my goat. Next up is Sudden Death. Sudden Death is actually a really good shoddy. Every time it has been refreshed recently, it's just been really tragic because I feel like it's been outshined by other competing shotguns or whatever. But crossing over is actually a really good origin trait. If it keeps that origin trait, or who knows, even gets a better one, it'll definitely be worth a second look. And if Found Verdict can't bring aggressive frames up, maybe Sudden Death will be able to. Next up, slug shotties, starting with Unvoiced. And Unvoiced is actually a really good slug shotgun. I really like the sights on it, but it's really tragic because it spent most of its life being mogged by Inquisitor. So now that it's getting refreshed, maybe it'll actually outshine Inquisitor for the first time in literally ever, and that could be very fun, you know? Unvoiced is a cool looking gun, and seeing a cool looking gun mog the one that's literally just a fucking glowing Suros model could be pretty nice, you know? For raids, the obvious slug shotgun is Heritage, right? I don't really like the sight on Heritage, but it just has the nuttiest stats of any slug shotgun in the game. It's got way too much aim assist for the amount of base range it has. It's fucking wild. So definitely, if you've got the Heritage pattern, be ready to bust that thing out. It's probably going to be nuts. But next up on the list is Nessa's Oblation. Not a lot of people used this thing, but during the era of Lightfall, it was actually a pretty solid pick. I remember using it on Voidlock a lot because it had demo and it has a very clean sight. So Nessa's Oblation, keep it in mind. Next up, snipers, again, starting with dungeons. So Naeem's Lance is pretty interesting sleeper pick. Not a lot of people use it these days because the prep pool kind of sucks, but from what I understand, it's actually a pretty clean weapon. Then 1,000-yard stare. I personally hated D2 1,000-yard stare because it has short gaze instead of ambush, and it has it feels like too much zoom. But because snipers are mostly preference, just keep in mind, if you like 44 zoom snipers, 1,000-yard stare is right there, and it will probably be nuts. Interestingly, though, the Long Walk, the old Trials of the Nine sniper, used to be available in Prophecy. Now, it's not anymore since they refreshed the loot pool, but there is a very, very slight chance that Long Walk is in this dungeon loot rework, and if it is, I will be farming for that thing just because I have so much nostalgia attached to that sniper, and it's so fun to use, dude. Definitely like top 10 guns for Aura in Destiny 2. If somehow it comes back, I will be farming for it. Moving on to raids, there are too many snipers here for me to go in depth on each of them, but Supremacy, Praedith, Critical Anomaly, all like A-tier snipers in my opinion. I don't really fuck with them, but they're all good. Critical Anomaly, the site's really weird, but if you can get used to it, very solid. And then Defiance of Yasmin, I hate the scope on that thing, but some people fucking love it. So if you're a Defiance of Yasmin, like 40 zoom wide sort of red dot fan, definitely check Yasmin out. Succession, hate the site on that thing, like C tier. Omniscient Eye, my goat, dude. I do not have enough kills on Omniscient Eye. I love this thing. I need to start using it more, but every time I put an energy slot sniper on, it's just beloved. But Omniscient Eye, I will be using that. Next up, SMGs, again, dungeons. No survivors, I was never really a fan, but it is a 720 in the energy slot, and it is like fairly competitive with the boosted stats from enhanced traits and masterworks. It might be worth it. So don't sleep on no survivors. Adjudicator, on the other hand, it is 13 zoom. It takes a little getting used to. That thing's a fucking beast once you learn how to handle it. Definitely check out an Adjudicator. And then I bet you forgot this thing even existed. The Unforgiven SMG from Duality. Dude, you have to shoot that thing just for the aura alone. It was never great in PvP. Let's not kid ourselves, but it's just so clean. For raids, you really only have two options, and that's Imminence and Submission. And personally, I hate both of these. I used Submission a lot just because it was like the only 900 in the kinetic slot for a while, but I fucking despised it. So unless it's like reprised version of Soul Drinker, again, if these weapons even get new origin traits, is really good, then I probably won't be using it. Imminence, on the other hand, just has like fucking horrible reticle bounce for some reason. Like I did a comparison of Imminence versus Multimach one time, and an Imminence with like 80 stability had worse stability than a Multimach with fucking 20. So I probably won't care about either of these, but you know, I will be testing them. I'll let you guys know if they're the next like giga meta, but probably not. Moving on to pulses, Relentless is actually a surprisingly good weapon. I fuck with Relentless. I have a roll with Lone Wolf Headseeker that I've been busting out occasionally in quick play when I rage swap off of my hand cannon, and I fuck with it. Alternatively, New Purpose, I use that thing a hell of a lot, like way back when 340 pulses were meta, when it was like New Purpose and Messenger were the only two guns that people were using all the time. Alternatively, apparently Premonition is coming back, which is like an old 340 from Hit. I don't even remember the last time I heard someone use one of these things. If that's interesting to you, go pick one up. I don't think it's gonna be good because it's got a stat package to back up the fact that it came out in fucking 2019, but you know, it could be interesting. There's also Darkest Before, the 540 from Prophecy. That thing is interesting. I never really fucked with the recoil, but given the enhanced traits, you might be able to squeeze some extra stability out of it and actually make it useful. I'd keep my eye on it because 540s have this weird habit of being dog shit until one that is insane comes out and breaks the meta in half. For raids, there's only two pulse rifles that I've really got my eye on. One is Chattering Bone, my goat. If you guys have watched my videos before, you've probably seen footage of me using Chattering Bone. There'll probably be footage of me using Chattering Bone in this video, because it's just that fucking good, dude. Uncontested 450 king of the kinetic slot, in my opinion. And the only other pulse that I'm like mildly interested in from raids is Oversoul Edict, and that's just because Sword Logic seems like really interesting once you give a 540 pulse mega boosted stats, and hopefully it'll have like Zen Moment or some insane consistency perk. So I'd keep my eye on it. It could potentially be really good for sixes. Lastly, and I'm almost regretting saying anything about these because I hate scout rifles so much, but I'd be doing you guys a disservice if I didn't mention scout rifles, because it is ultimately on you to have a scout rifle in your inventory to rage swap to when you get Eternity 3 maps in a row. So from the dungeons, unworthy, just insane. Precision instrument plus origin trait makes it nuts. Assuming it keeps both of those things with the reprise, it will be probably uncontested energy scout rifle. In the kinetic slot, you have Fang of Ute, basically the same thing, slightly worse origin trait in that it's useless on a scout rifle, but 240 precision instrument yet again, good. The only like fun scout rifle in my opinion is Transfiguration because it gets kill clip rampage and it can 2-tap. I'm pretty sure. Let me double check. Okay, yep. With Rampage and Kill Clip proc, does 116 damage, clean 2-tap. So if you're interested in just like a funny scout rifle that does silly things instead of trying to nuke people across the map with a 260 with PI that 4-taps, pick up a Transfiguration. It could be kind of fun. And that's it for rad weapons that I think you should keep your eye on for post-reprise. Notably, I did not cover autos. I honestly don't think there are any autos that do anything interesting. I also didn't cover like sidearms. There's just nothing really there. I'm not talking about fusion rifles. I hate fusion rifles. I'm not going to tell you guys the busted fusion rifles so then you can go use them against me. Fuck you guys. If you want to go figure out which fusion rifle is busted, you know where to find that information. Anyway, Christ is king. I'm out.